Reading from my American Encyclopedia, the letter R, page 133, ranching. Famous ranch brands of the Old West. Branding cattle was very important in the 1800s when cattle roamed an open and fenced range. The brand on each animal showed who owned it. Branding also made it difficult for thieves to steal the cattle. These are some of the brands. There's Terraces. This is Bar and Bar. This is Rocking Chair. This is Three Seas. This is Three Feathers. This is Two Hearts. This is a ranch. Life on cattle ranch. The cattle follow a daily routine on the range. They graze very early in the morning, eating very rapidly. They chew their food only enough to moisten it and then swallow it. During the middle of the day, the cattle rest in a shady place. The food is returned to their mouths in the form of a cud, and they chew it again. In the afternoon, most of the cattle go to the watering hole to drink water. Then they graze until dusk. During the day, the ranchers mend fences, they repair machinery, they make sure the watering holes contain enough water for their cattle. They also put out blocks of salt that the cows can lick because cattle need salt in their diet. Ranchers also plant and care for their hay and grains. They also put out blocks of salt, and in the fall, the neighbors help each other around the cattle. Then the cows that are old enough to be weaned, taken from their mothers, then they are sold. Ranch life was very lonely, but the automobile trucks and good roads, especially the good roads, have brought the ranchers closer to other people. Ranchers usually go to towns and after towns at least once a week, and they visit the neighbors. And most ranch children ride school buses to school, and ranch families live in comfortable homes that have some electricity, modern plumbing, telephones, and televisions. Life on a sheep ranch is different from life on a cattle ranch because sheep produce two crops. They produce lambs and they produce wool. In the spring, crews of workers use power clippers to cut off the sheep's wool and the wool and to make clothes, and the lambs are usually born in spring. They and the freshly sheared sheep are then branded with paint. In the fall, most of the lambs are weaned, sheep to stockyards and so. Oh. So ranching usually means raising cattle or sheep in large farms, and some fruit farmers and farms that raise such small fur animals as mink. They are also called ranches. In California, there are ranches for cattle and sheep, but most American ranchers are in the western United States and Canada, and some in the southern states of Gulf Mexico, Australia, Argentina, Mexico, and New Zealand. Most early ranchers in the United States raised cattle on unfenced land, owned by the federal government called open range. Hired workers called cowboys or cowhands role herd the cattle. Today, ranchers generally own much of the land in their ranch, and they and their members of the family do the most of the work themselves. But they get along well with the neighbors.